What's up, y'all? And thank you for tuning back into AST, Alex's Sports Talk Show, where I'm going to be breaking down the top free agent quarterback landing spots. This free agency class of quarterbacks is crazy and loaded, unlike I've seen in a long, long time. So I'm going to break down quarterbacks who are all going to be hitting the free agency market, teams that need quarterbacks, and then I'm going to match teams with quarterbacks. So let's just get right into this. Quarterbacks, a lot of old quarterbacks and kind of young quarterbacks. Got a whole mixture. It's great. You got Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill, Dak Prescott. So let's talk about the teams that kind of need quarterbacks. Now, a lot of these are going to match up, all these old quarterbacks on their teams because a lot of them are going to be leaving or they just haven't re-signed yet. I got the Patriots, the Buccaneers, the Indianapolis Colts, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Panthers, the Dolphins, Cowboys. Yes, I said the Cowboys. And the Titans. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 plus teams that are looking for quarterbacks. And this draft is kind of filled with at least 4 or 5 first-round quarterback in the draft itself. So it's going to be crazy. Let's look for top choices for each of these teams. So you got the Buccaneers, I think Phillip Rivers and Teddy Bridgewater are going to be the main fits for this because Phillip Rivers, Arians likes established quarterbacks. Example is Carson Palmer when he was on the Cardinals. Phillip Rivers has a Hall of Fame record. He likes to air out the ball, and they have the weapons for that. The only problem is he kind of turns the ball over like Jameis Winston, who led the league in interceptions with 36 pick sixes as well. It's kind of crazy. People are joking about how Jameis should have won Defensive Player of the Year as well. All jokes, but yeah, Phillip Rivers would be a good one. Teddy Bridgewater too, I really think, because he's a younger quarterback. He doesn't really turn the ball over that much. He's got great poise, great work ethic, and I think he's just going to come and he's going to come in, do his job, and going to have a blast. And then a name I've kind of been hearing or I would like to see is actually Tom Brady. Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. They got middle of the pack offensive line. Second half of the season, their defense was top 2 in rush, top 10 overall. Shaquille Barrett, sack leader this year. Great offensive weapons. Mike Evans, Brashad Perriman, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard. Running game's a little sketchy, but man, they can just air it out. So those are the 3 quarterbacks I have for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next, let's look at the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, the Las Vegas Raiders. No more Oakland, unfortunately. Moving in to their new arena. So I got Jameis Winston. He loves to air the ball out. As receiving talent is good, but it's not like Tampa Bay. You got Terrell Williams, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs. Good players, and then they can use one of their 2 first-round picks this year to get some more offensive pieces, maybe a wide receiver. I know that this year the wide receiver class is deep. We got Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Tyler Johnson, just so many different wide receivers and at so many different levels that you can get. Another person who I could see here is Mariota. Marcus Mariota. Gruden bring him in for a little competition to Carr. Gruden is still not sold on Carr. That's why I have the Raiders kind of looking for a quarterback, moving to a whole new place, and you want to kind of kickstart off your franchise at a new place with person or team that you really backed behind fully. Let's look at the Colts. The reason I put the Colts on here is that Jacoby Brissett got injured, kind of mediocre-ish play. They were doing good for the most part of the season until Brissett got injured, and then they had to start Brian Hoyer, who is not very good. So some people I could see on here is Case Keenum, kind of challenged Brissett and kind of bolsters that backup quarterback role. You got Mariota, backup Brissett. Brissett is going to be making $16 million with Mariota. You can kind of run the Wildcat, switch up formations a little bit. And for Mariota, you don't have to live up to that second overall pick hype anymore. And then the last one for the Colts, I got Phillip Rivers. He's got ties to head coach Frank Reich. He's really a true gunslinger. He's still got weapons and one of the best offensive lines in the league. Some weapons you have T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell, Marlon Mack, Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle. So you got all these good weapons. And so that's a landing spot for Phillip Rivers. Talking about the New England Patriots. I definitely don't think Tom Brady is going to come back, unfortunately. I've heard Teddy Bridgewater, he's already established as a QB. He's 5-0 in this past season, starting for Drew Brees. Doesn't really turn the ball over. He's got huge potential still young, and he's a safer pick than drafting one for Bill Belichick instead of having to develop one. Teddy Bridgewater's been in the league for numerous years now. He knows how to run an offense, and I think that would be a good option. Next, I have Phillip Rivers. He's willing to throw the ball downfield. As mentioned before, he does have a high turnover rate, although you have a great defense behind him, and he also has a Hall of Fame record. Another name I've been hearing for the Patriots is Andy Dalton, a true game manager. He's going to win you some games, and he's going to lose you some games. So I think you're going to have to ride your defense even more than last year, maybe even go. I think you definitely need to go offense in the draft and in this offseason for the Patriots. Next, we're looking at the LA Chargers. One of these landing spots for Tom Brady. So Tom Brady, he is the GOAT, greatest of all time quarterback. 6 Super Bowl wins, 9 appearances. I think he brings fans back to the Charger fan base. He is originally from Southern California. His trainers and his families are from there. He has a bigger market to expand his company, TB12. He can enter other entertainment industries. Great offensive weapons. Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, Mike Williams. Offensive line is really poor, although they just made a trade to get a left or right guard after getting rid of Russell Okung. They got a respectable D. The only problem is you have to play Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champs, Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, previous MVP, so it's going to be tough. That's the only concern is having to play Patrick Mahomes. For the Chargers as well, they can also draft a quarterback and they can also sit him behind Tom Brady for a little bit. I've heard Justin Herbert, Jordan Love. I think if they don't land Tom Brady, they could try and go after Ryan Tannehill. They're definitely going to try and draft a quarterback. Let's look at the Titans now. Option 1 is definitely Ryan Tannehill. He came out hot when he took that starting job. He led the team. Well, him and Derrick Henry led the team to the AFC Championship. He had a really, really big resurgence here, and it goes to show that just because you're on another team doesn't mean, and you don't do well, doesn't mean you can't perform at all. You can always come back and have a great year. I have been listening and researching that Tannehill is looking for like $30 million a year, and I think that's just too high for what he's asking. I definitely think maybe 26 to 28 mil is the cutoff for him. So if he's asking for too much, I think that the Titans are going to move away from Tannehill and go to Tom Brady, who has really good connections with Vrabel, who he played with on the Patriots and won several Super Bowls with. Great run game. I don't know how his teammates are going to feel after beating the Patriots in the wild card round last year, and then they go and get Tom Brady. I know Derrick Henry said he wasn't a fan of it. So if they do that, I don't know what they're going to do with Derrick Henry. They got a respectable D, good at times, bad at times, and they got some offensive weapons. As I said, Derrick Henry. You got A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Delaney Walker. So definitely got some weapons. Not as respectable as the Chargers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it's definitely got some weapons you can work with. All right, let's talk about these Dallas Cowboys now. Yes, Dallas Cowboys. Before I really get into a lot of it, I want to talk about a CBS trade talk. I saw an article about it said that the Cowboys were thinking about trading Dak Prescott to the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins would give up their 5th overall pick and the 18th overall pick. I definitely think the Cowboys are going to have to throw like a 2nd or 3rd round pick in there, and the Cowboys would then draft, like a Tua Tagovailoa or one of those other quarterbacks, probably going to be Tua. But, I mean, that's kind of interesting to think about. Like, it kind of just gets the gears kind of going in your head of like, oh, I wonder, what that team would look like. I wouldn't do it. I'd actually stick with Dak Prescott just because he's never missed a game for you. He's already loved by his teammates and by the fans. Just had a great career year. And sure, contract negotiations are going a little bit slower, but I think you just keep working on it. I think they eventually are going to pay him, just like they had to pay Zeke. And I think you're going to be looking at $33.5 million per year, 100 to 109 million guaranteed. Definitely above Carson Wentz, but hitting that Jared Goff guaranteed contract, who I think Dak Prescott is better than both Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. Great O-line, wide receiver talents is there. Defense needs some work. If you pay Dak Prescott, I don't know what's going to happen with that defense. I know you still need to pay Byron Jones, so that's going to be interesting to look at. But the Cowboys, stick with your man, Dak Prescott. If you franchise tag him, he is going to leave you. He's been making diddly squat as a fourth-round pick these past couple years, and he's really kind of carried your franchise, so pay that man. Next, you have the Panthers, Carolina Panthers. The new head coach, Matt Rule, said they're going to stick with Cam right now, kind of see how he gets healthy. I still think they're going to try and draft a quarterback. Yeah, so they're just going to stick with Cam, draft a quarterback. If that happens and Cam gets mad, then look for them to move Cam. A potential spot would be the Chicago Bears. I've also heard the Bears be interested in Jameis Winston, giving a little competition to Mitch Trubisky. And then the last one is the Dolphins. Definitely going to be drafting a quarterback. Like mentioned earlier, that whole Dallas trade. It's just kind of a good what-if scenario. But I definitely think the Dolphins are going to be drafting a quarterback. Another move I've heard is Phillip Rivers. He's already moving down to Florida, or at least vacationing in Florida for a good amount of time. He's a gunslinger. He's a great fit for a QB to learn under if you do draft one. And if he doesn't want to contend, then that's perfect. It'd be a great landing spot, but I would think Phillip Rivers would want to contend for a championship just because he gotten kind of close, and I think that would really cement him as a true Hall of Famer. Right now, that's kind of teetering back and forth, but if he wants to contend, then don't go to the Dolphins. Did a lot of great research, did a lot of good insight for you guys. Don't leave me hanging. Please drop a comment of where you think some of these quarterbacks could land or what teams need a specific quarterback. I'm always interested and willing to write back to viewer interaction. I would love it. I am constantly all about it. So please like, subscribe, share, comment. You know what's good. AT is out of here. Have a great day.